Tucker, you can tell them what's going on.
All right, so I'm lagging here, but I'm going to try the best. I'm using a really bad computer. But basically what's going on is I finally finished The Walking Dead, and before Season 2 came out, we did a discussion video. It was like last December. It was like December 10th or something like that when we did the video. And we talked about our expectations for Season 2 and our worries for Season 2. And we're going to talk about that.
All right.
I mean, you seem to have a little bit firmer of a grasp when you first started. You weren't as worried as I was, so I'll let you start, Mr. Optimist over there.
All right. Do you remember what we even said were our worries and expectations?
Yeah,
Like that? 'Cause I
nope, I just dropped my notepad that had all my notes on it. I'm going to bend over now. Okay, so I just took some notes. Let me just actually switch back over to my screen. I took some notes. It's like nothing. There you go. It's basically just what I think we should talk about with the video, but I mentioned that a lot of our video was about the apprehension about Clementine being the only playable character.
Now, who mentioned that? Because I don't think I was as worried as you
I mean,
were.
I was worried. I was completely worried. And I was like, come on, TellTale. At least only do it for the first episode, then let's take over as somebody else. But, yeah, it was mostly my apprehension on that one.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea from the beginning just because you built such a relationship with that character. I understand it was a little kid, and it still technically is a little kid, but at that point, I don't really think I would have wanted to play as, I don't know. I like the characters like Omid and Krista and stuff, but I really wouldn't have wanted to play as them as much as I did Clementine, just because you were with her almost the entire time.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, let's just start out now. Spoilers. This is going to be an entirely spoiler uh, discussion. I don't want to do like the last one where we're like, oh, well, we're not going to spoil anything. If you haven't seen, or if you haven't watched or played the game, all my videos are out for Season 2. You can watch them. I'll probably put a description down for a playlist that has all the videos in it. Just go and watch it. But
Did we spoil?
Obi dies in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So there goes that. And then they made the reveal of Krista being pregnant, which in the beginning, which was sort of hinted at through the entirety of Season 1, Episode 4 and 5. They talked about that a lot. Just hinting here and there. Some comments, I think Lee even made a comment saying you're carrying for 2, and that was in Season 5, or Season 1, Episode 5. So there was hints that Krista was
I think I
pregnant.
remember that, yeah.
Um, so you start out there. Omi dies almost immediately, which pissed me off, but what can you do? And then it jumps to, it was like 11 months or something like that, to Krista not having the baby anymore. Not sure what happened there. Just the loose ends that you're never going to learn from TellTale, because TellTale likes to do that, I've noticed. They'll just take loose ends like, the hell was her name right now?
Molly?
Lily, yeah. Lily.
Oh,
Complete
Lily.
loose
I
ends.
thought you were going to
No,
talk about
they'll
Molly.
never mention Lily again.
Hopefully they do. I mean, I understand Lily's not a popular character. I thought it was an interesting character, though, so hopefully we get a reunion in Season 3, like... Because Clementine obviously remembers her. I don't know if... No, depending on how you ended Season 2, I don't know if anybody else would.
Yeah. That's another thing about the ending of Season 2. Oh, here comes some lag. You're going to have to deal with that on the screen. Some wacky-ass jump... it's like 0 FPS going on right now. Okay, so I ended Season 2, if you didn't watch the videos. I ended it with me and Kenny leaving Wellington. I did not kill Kenny. I stayed with Kenny, and then when he said, you need to go to Wellington and stay there, I said, screw off, Kenny, we're going together. And we all left together. So, you have a little bit different of an ending there.
Yep, I did.
And arguably more emotionally draining.
It was more emotionally draining. I was devastated. I had to kill Kenny. I like James as a character. I still do, even after the ending. But I love Kenny as well, and it was just really hard to put a bullet in him. That was really nice warping you got going on the screen over there. But yeah, then I thought it was a really touching scene, at least at the end with you and Kenny after everything happened. But I didn't quite. I mean, I don't know what I expected with the baby. I didn't really expect Jane to kill the baby. That would have been. This was despite everything. I don't think she would have done something like that. But it is what it is, and I went with Jane at the end. I did not forgive her though, because there's a choice. You can like forgive her and go along with her, or just not say anything. Actually, I don't think I chose anything. I said nothing in my dialogue. I still went with her, but it was just I was really mad about the whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely would be too. Um, anyway, that's enough of that. I mean, I had a good ending. I liked my ending. I
I
stayed
like
with Kenny in
my.
the end. So
I think
I was left satisfied, and you were left satisfied.
I
So
think the only ending that would have been unsatisfying was the middle one, kind of like where you just do nothing. You and the baby are the only ones you just walk off. That
yeah,
I
but
really.
actually, a lot of people, especially at IGN, actually got that ending, and that's the ending they wanted. Clementine on her own.
I wouldn't have wanted
I
that.
just don't see that being the case.
Yeah.
I don't see why that would be a good ending at all for the character. Clementine with the baby alone is destined to die, especially when you're leaving whatever the hell that blizzard is in Ohio. Because I found out that Wellington's actually in Ohio, not Michigan, where the actual Wellington is. I guess there might be a Wellington, Ohio.
Oh,
I
maybe.
don't know.
But
But
for
it definitely did not look like Ohio. That looked a lot like where I live, uh, close into like early December. That kind of weather is where I live in December. So
so
that's,
however old Clementine is with a baby, that's what you got to deal with, I guess.
yeah, in the middle of a blizzard. That's nice. So I don't see how that's a nice ending. But then again, when you do that ending, it shows the seasons changing with Clementine being alone. At least that's what I can remember from watching the videos.
Yeah.
So in the end, she does survive, but
But the thing
kind of
that's also
confusing.
different about going with Jane that I did is that when you go with Kenny or something, you go to Wellington. When you go with Jane, you go back to whatever that big facility Carver had was called. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah. Which I can't remember either. But that's a really stupid idea, honestly, because Mike and the Ruski are still alive out there. And Mike knows exactly where that place is. So if they're trying to figure out how to get somewhere, chances are him and the Ruski are going to go back there. You're going to encounter them again.
Well, it does have supplies, so that was the main reason going there.
Yeah, and maybe the fact that it was overrun.
Yeah.
I was not willing to go back, considering how overrun we left the damn place.
I actually forgot that was part of the option of going with Jane. I just went with Jane because she makes the most sense, but you do end up going back there. And then it ends, it's got a weird ending with like a family coming. You can like scare them away or accept them in. And I don't know if it sets anything up for the next season, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, just a last little recap on the ending of it. When I was talking with you earlier on Facebook, I think it'd be really interesting if somehow TellTale was ballsy enough and ambitious enough to make a game for Season 3 with Clementine, continuing with each separate ending, and not making it, well, you went with Jane, and either way she ends up getting killed off and Clementine's alone, or he went with Kenny, and either way he gets killed off and is left alone. Like, if there was actually
That would really.
independent storylines based on your choices. I think if they're ambitious enough, they might be able to do it. I don't know.
It would be tough to do, and honestly, even if they don't do it, just killing like Kenny off in like the way Omid died or Jane, it would just feel really cheap because I don't know the way Kenny died in my playthrough was just so emotional and so powerful. If he just gets killed off in like 30 seconds, if you saved him, that would defeat the whole entire purpose of it.
Yeah, I think I would be really pissed off with it. I mean, uh, Telltale did a really good job with the emotional connections. I was going to mention this, and then I stopped myself in our Facebook chat. A lot of people said that Telltale did a really shitty job with the emotional connections, which, if you weren't thinking objectively, at least through my theory, it would seem that way. But think of the idea that maybe the idea is to, what's the word? Make it so Clementine doesn't actually have an emotional connection with these characters, showing the realities of a situation. It's past 400 days. It's past a year. She's dealt with all these deaths the entire time through. It's almost like in World War II and pretty much every war. People later in the war would say, to the new recruits that just joined in, saying, "If you survive 4 weeks, you can tell me your name."
Hmm.
Just emotionally distancing yourself from them. And I never really got connected to any other character. And the only reason I was so I actually cried because I didn't even leave Kenny. Kenny didn't even die. But I was so emotionally connected with Kenny because of the first game. Those emotional connections transferred over.
Yeah.
But I didn't have any real emotional connection. A little bit with Luke, kind of Bonnie, but not much aside from those characters.
I'm trying to think of any of the other characters that were there. I mean, yeah, mostly Kenny, just because you knew him for so long, and I understand where they were going with Kenny being like a loose cannon, and I totally saw like the danger that possessed. But still, you still have those connections from the previous game, and even going back to like I think it was episode 2 that you see Kenny again. Episode 2 of this season, like I didn't sit at the same table as him. And I don't know, just that little thing with his reaction just kind of like affected me somehow. Like I felt really bad about not sitting at him eating dinner with him.
Yeah, I immediately went with Kenny because I'm like, well, I've seen these people before. I don't really care for them too much. But Kenny, he just showed up out of nowhere. I think I'm gonna sit with him.
Yeah,
That was my
I don't,
thought.
I don't really quite know why I didn't sit with him. Maybe it was I don't know if it was a loyalty for the previous group that you meet in the first episode, or just he seemed a little off. He did seem a little bit off in that first episode you meet him though.
Yeah, I will agree. He did seem a little off, and really, it was build up for the entire climax. They had this idea planned to make Kenny just weird as shit to make the choice easier to kill him. Because I guess in other playthroughs, according to TellTale, they didn't make that choice as obvious, and most people sided with Kenny in the end. But they wanted to make it more morally justifiable to actually kill him.
Yeah, but I still think most people sided with Kenny. I mean, I don't really know too many people who
No, they didn't.
really.
Looking at stats, it's like 18% of people stayed with Kenny in the end. 30% of people saved Kenny or didn't kill him. So 70% of people killed Kenny. At least
uh, yeah, it's interesting. Maybe just the stats were a little bit different because I played it the first night it came out, so there probably wasn't that many.
yeah, that might be it too. And it's also you were using the Xbox version, so
Yeah.
um, well, a few other things to talk about. Um, I almost feel that the game didn't really live up to its expectation in some senses. It was a good game, but it was definitely not season one,
Yeah,
by a long shot.
definitely. Season 1 was better, but season 2 is still really damn good.
Oh, it's a solid game. Don't get me. But I think what really happened is another instance like what happened with Duke Nukem Forever, overhyped,
I wouldn't
or
go that far.
basically season one overshadowed season two.
It's
And
good,
it's
but
like the
not
idea
to
that
that
a
level.
sequel can never be as good as the first movie, and to some extent that's true.
There's examples of sequels being better. I think in video games, sequels tend to be better than, depending on who you ask, obviously, but I think video games have a higher chance of a sequel being improved up on than like movies do. There's only a handful of movies I can think of where the sequel was just as good, if not better. Um, but I also think maybe for The Walking Dead, I don't really agree with the Duke Nukem Forever one because that's like a totally different scenario.
Well, I was talking
But
about the overhype for it. Yeah, at least for me, I was really hyped up for season two. Could not wait, and still, I'm gonna be the same way for season three. Can't wait. Don't know what the hell they're gonna do, but I can't wait.
I just think for me, and maybe for a lot of other people, season 1 of The Walking Dead was just something that I really haven't experienced before. The storytelling to that degree. Season 2 is kind of, obviously, it's kind of the same exact thing. So maybe it's just that the freshness wore off. I'm not too sure exactly what it is. I do agree that season 1 narratively is stronger than season 2, but season 2 is also like, off the top of my head, it's one of my games of the year, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna rate it game of the year because what did it have to go up with this year? Nothing.
I'll
Titanfall,
think about it
that's
later.
about it.
Titanfall, I wouldn't say is better than Walking Dead.
Yeah, and I agree too. Titanfall is not better than The Walking Dead. Still a good game, but
Yeah, definitely.
not better.
I mean,
Um,
we got a stretch now of 3 months, so anything can happen.
yeah, Destiny's definitely not getting game of the year.
No, although we were gonna touch upon it in like a separate video, but I will say Destiny's better than I thought it was at least. I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, I don't know. Uh, so let's just I'm just gonna go off these notes again. The music we touched a little bit on the Take Us Back from season one. Take Us Back far outshined anything in this season, but the thing about this season is the music was much more solid and
Yeah.
consistent than season one. I don't remember any of the other songs from season one aside from the goodbye theme when Lee and Clementine have their last moment, and they actually reprised that theme for the season five credits. They sort of edited it a little bit, but it's the same thing really. Um, in the pines, in the water, um,
Salty Seas.
salty seas. God, I'm not thinking straight. Um, and remember me. Those are the songs that they had, and then the reprise of the Goodbye theme.
Yeah.
So it solid music. The only one I really couldn't remember too well and didn't really leave an impact was "Remember Me," which is kind of ironic.
Yeah, I don't even remember how that song even goes, but I think
It was from
another thing.
Annabelle too, so the guys who did "In the Water."
Yeah,
So it
all the songs were really strong. I might have to listen to Remember Me again sometime, but the rest of the songs were really strong. I don't even think did season one even have end credits music because I don't remember anything from that.
I don't remember if they do or not. I have to go back and
Take Us
play.
Back obviously is the best, but I think also it could be that Take Us Back happened in such an emotional moment.
Yeah, that
The
another thing
entire
I was
game.
thinking about. The They kind of shot themselves in the foot by doing the Goodbye theme for the reprise.
What you
I
think if
don't
they
think that
put
was a good.
an actual song there, it could have like been the same way.
Not exactly because the emotional dread had already worn off. This was more of a gradual uh, depression as opposed to the first game where it was like flip a switch, holy shit, I'm depressed. That was season one. This one was gradual through really from season two, episode four onward. It was just downhill.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I really enjoyed that change from season one. I'm glad they didn't do the cheap route and just redo what they did last time. And one thing I did notice, I think I was mostly impacted by the salty eyes or
Salty.
salty seas rather song. I can't even remember the name, but I was mostly impacted by the song. I actually teared up a little bit when I heard it a few times afterward, and I was starting to think of the context with it. It reminds me a lot of the dialogue between Sarah and Clementine.
Yeah,
It's
well,
almost like the song is told from the perspective of Sarah.
I haven't listened to it like that. I might have to now. That's a song that did get better with multiple listens, though. It really, the lyrics really, I like lyrics. That's all I can really say about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, In the Pines, just a traditional folk song.
Yeah,
Good. Probably the best song out of the season.
yeah.
But the
But in
cover
terms
was
of
amazing.
original songs, I like Salty Seas the best.
Yeah. But, oh, another thing. I did want to mention this, and I did mention it in the Facebook chat. Telltale has a really excellent skill at taking songs that were already released. Salty Tears or Salty Seas, goddamn, it was released in 2006,
Yeah,
so it was out long ago.
and I had never heard of that band before
I'd
either.
never heard of it, never heard of the band, and they picked that perfect song. Some obscure band, I can't even remember the name of it,
Devix.
Divic, something like that. Yeah, it started with a D. Picks that. It's the perfect. It fits perfect for
It,
the. It was the episode four credit music. You know, you either kill Rebecca or Kenny does, and then guns shot, blackout, music. It's like,
yeah,
and then you reflect on everything that happened that episode. Um, Nick's death. Well, knowing that he's dead, unless you killed him off in like episode two, which can happen. Um, Sarah's death, I
yeah.
left her
Other ways she
behind.
dies, but it just depends
I
on how
left
you
her
do it.
behind, and I think that was much more emotionally draining. Was when you leave her behind.
Yeah,
It makes
probably.
the song much
Oh no,
more.
it definitely was. That was the only thing I had a problem with in episode four is that uh, I don't know. I just didn't feel as bad for her death as I probably should have. They kind of rushed it.
Well, they did, but again, you also took her with you.
Yeah.
If you were to leave her, it was pretty draining emotionally.
Yeah.
Like I didn't lead on in the video that I was having troubles with the decision, but I was. It kind of jarred me a little bit, and I'm thinking, well, I have a half brother who I don't know if he'd be able to deal with that. And if that were to happen in my situation, what would I do? Would I leave him behind? And then Jane tells her story about how she basically sacrificed her sister because she couldn't carry her on anymore. And
Yeah.
it just like it was like a dagger right in my chest. I'm like, well, what the hell would I do? Would I leave him behind? You know,
I mean, it kind of still, even when you do rescue her, I remember a conversation where she's still like really comatose. She doesn't even say anything, but she's like something along the lines of she doesn't understand why you would even try to help her at that point.
yeah. And I think the thing that's even worse, it's the real dagger in the heart, is when you climb up. You probably I don't know if you saw the scene. You're climbing out of there, and then Sarah's at the bottom, and she looks up and she's like, Clementine, and then she gets mauled.
That kind of sucks.
Yeah, so it's jarring.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, TellTale, good job. I mean, and then like I said, they picked the perfect song to accentuate everything that happened in that episode. The death of Sarah, death of Rebecca, death of Nick, confirmed fate rather. And like I said, you're gonna have to go back and listen to it. I really feel that they picked that song to accentuate the dialogue between, like the narrative dialogue between Clementine and Sarah. You have to listen to the lyrics and try to pick out. This could just be a conspiracy theory of mine, but I feel that there is a connection to the two.
Yeah, it could. I mean, music's all about interpretation, and whoever chooses the music for Telltale needs a raise right now.
Yeah, I almost feel that they need to be the highest paid employee there. They just perfect. Let's see. I already talked to the emotional disconnection between the characters. I, I, I'm not really quite sure what else I can say about this episode or this season itself as a whole. I'm kind of surprised. Like, I'm just gonna recap. I'm surprised I actually enjoyed having Clementine the entire way. I was worried that she wouldn't have been grown up, but over that 11-month jump, she really just soared off as a survivor. I mean, she was much more competent than any other survivor in that group.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
moment I got there, I wanted to leave. They were completely useless.
I mean, they were nice, but yeah, they weren't that great of a help.
Oh yeah, and I can't remember where I was going to place this, but Carlos. Oh
I
my
was gonna bring
God.
that up too now, just now.
Yeah, Carlos. Another reason I think that there was problems with Sarah is because Carlos was an idiot.
Well, I understand what he was trying to do, but it was probably the wrong decision.
Yeah. Well, what were you going to say about Carlos?
No, I was just gonna bring him up because you were talking about the group, and I realized he was like the one person we didn't even mention at all.
Yeah, I didn't care for Carlos. Oh, I'm apparently a doctor, but I can't tell the difference between a zombie bite or a dog bite. Like,
Oh, he was supposed to be a doctor?
yeah, he was a doctor, so like,
A lot of the earlier
I'm
seasons, I
pretty
kind of,
sure that's a dog bite.
yeah.
Like I'm not a doctor or a vet or anything, but kind of looks like a dog bite. And then Luke says, I can't tell the difference between a dog bite, a lurker bite, or a mosquito bite. I'm like, what?
I mean, also, this is kind of back to what we were talking about before. In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really change how I feel about the season as a whole. But it's a little bit jarring where I played through season one straight through all the episodes consecutively, pretty much, and I still have great memory of that game. But for season two, I played them all when they were released, and I'm a little bit fuzzy on things from from episode one and a little bit of episode two. Episode 3 and 4 and 5, obviously, are still pretty fresh, but because I had to play them when they were released, it just
Yeah,
feels so distant.
I agree. Because I played season 5 or season 1 completely through. No stops, no breaks on the rape train, basically.
Yeah.
It was really an emotional rape train. Um, but I didn't stop. But with season 2, it's because I'm doing the videos, play them when it comes out. It You lose a little bit of it. You really do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to change me in the future. I'm still going to play them when they're released. I'm not going to wait or anything, but it's just something to be mentioned.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to do from now on out for season 3 is I'm going to do a review, not like a video review, but I'm going to like mentally review, go back and look at what happened in episode 1 when I'm playing 2, episode 2
Yeah, that
playing
would
3,
make sense. That's a good idea.
or at least replay it maybe on a different save file, doing the same actions or maybe slightly different actions, just to get a gist of what happened again.
Yeah. Is there anything left to talk
You got
about?
anything else to say about this?
I literally just asked you that question. No, I think we covered all our bases. I thought it was still, despite not being as good as season 1, I thought it was still a really strong season. And I'm excited for season 3.
Yeah, I'm very excited for season 3, but it's gonna be a long wait.
It might, yeah, because they got Game of Thrones coming out, and then they got to do
And
that
then you got
Borderlands.
that Borderlands thing going on.
Yeah. I'm psyched for Game of Thrones, too, though.
It's gonna be probably if I could guess, especially if they decide to go the very ambitious route, it's gonna be like a release in 2016, 2017, maybe like December 2016.
I don't think they're going to wait that long. I'd say at the end of next year we should have something.
Maybe.
The
Just
end of
depends on what they're trying to
2015.
do. Because when is Game of Thrones scheduled for release?
Early 2015, and I know that it's gonna. I think I heard that it's gonna run parallel to season 5, which is coming out next year, which should start in like April. So hopefully they have it around that time. Once that's done, I know Borderlands. I thought it was supposed to come out at the end of this year, so I don't know.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. Because if
Are
they're
they
going to come
doing
out with that, they got to do Borderlands. And from what I could tell, the way they release their games is they make the first part, then they make the second part. Like that's the purpose of the break. From what I could tell, is that they're actually working on it. So if they're doing that early, mid 2015, they're going to have pretty much all of 2015 to do the game, and we're going to be slated for release for The Walking Dead season 3 in 2016. And that's my thought on that.
I still stick with the end of 2015.
I mean, is it going to be the same team editing, or is it going to be a completely different team?
They'll probably be the same team. I can't really see them changing that up.
Well, it's going to be a lot of work for them to do. For
Oh,
two
you mean the same
games,
team
along with three, really three because of Borderlands.
Yeah. I don't know if they blend in with the other teams. They might not. They might. I don't know.
I don't know. Well, that's just a question for another day, I guess. Anyway, I'm going to call it here. Bye, laggy computer. I'll probably lag the entire way through.
I have the best camera, but the ugliest face.
Yeah, and I have... No, I don't know. I think I have an uglier face. I just got the hair.
I have the ugliest hair then today, because I
Yeah, well, you didn't wash yourself.
no. Well, I have my shower scheduled out. I did it yesterday, but I got a plan for ahead. Still think I'm
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
much
I basically what happened is I woke up. I didn't even wake up. No, I've been up all night. I didn't go to sleep. So that's probably why this video is just a complete jamble. And I'm like, hey,
So
we got to
we're gonna
release
put this
a
video
discussion video.
up. You
Do
go
it.
to sleep then.
No, we got Minecraft.
Go to sleep before Minecraft.
I might actually do that. But you want to do a quick? You know what? No, we'll leave them in suspense of what we're doing.
Yeah,
In Minecraft.
I was gonna suggest something too, but no.
Yeah, let's leave them in suspense of what we're planning for Minecraft.
Look at this. Mets fans out there, this is a foul ball I got from Travis Darno, so we got something to be positive about this year.
Yeah. I'm very, very tempted just to end, I was very tempted to end the call or the broadcast right when you were to hold it up just to be a douche. But I'm a nice guy.
All right. Get your Marilyn Manson.
I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna Marilyn Manson the hell out of this camera. I'm out of here. I think we're done here.
Yep.
Matt's over there laughing. Giggles McGee. Giggles and bits. All right, I think we're gonna end it now for pissed off the view. I'm not gonna edit this, so there's not gonna be a tag end. It's just gonna go straight to YouTube. So We'll catch you with the next video. Jesus. Oh my god.